This is a basic drop shoulder oversized V-neck sweater. We're mainly going to use double crochets for the panels and the sleeves, and the neckline, the cuffs, and the bottom ribbing, we're going to use single crochets. This is a unisex sweater, so you can make it for guys or girls. You can make it for your family, partner, or a friend. So we're going to make the back panel first instead of the front panel because we need the back panel to mark out where we want to start the V-neck. And as you can see, this is my V-neck here. I'm going to show you how to do it later. But anyway, the back panel is just a piece of rectangle. So I'm going to show you how to do the stitch first. I'm going to begin with a slip knot. Insert my hook. And I'm just going to work a small sample here to show you the stitch. So I'm just going to chain 10. But for the back panel, you chain 90. The width of the sweater is around 24 inches. If you want your sweater to be wider, you just add more chain number. So after you've chained your beginning chain, chain 1, find the second stitch from the hook, 1, 2, turn your work, find the back loop of the second chain, which is this one. Insert your hook. I'm going to work the first stitch differently and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 2 vertical loops here. I'm going to insert my hook again in the left loop, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. So this is the first double crochet. I'm going to mark this stitch. So that's the first stitch. And from the next chain, we're going to begin to work the normal double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook in the back loop of the next chain. So the next back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch is the same, back loop, yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. So I'm going to continue working like this. Work 1 double crochet in the back loop of each chain. All the way to the last chain. Okay, so this is row 1. My beginning chain is 10, so as you can see, I have 10 stitches here. For the front and back panel, your beginning chain is 90, so you should have 90 stitches across the row. To begin the next row, directly turn your work. Insert your hook in the first stitch, which is this one. Insert in both loops. Pull up a loop. We're going to do the first double crochet like this one. So I'm going to first make a single crochet like this, 2 vertical loops, insert hook in the left one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, another single crochet, and that's the first stitch. Again, I'm going to mark this stitch in case we lose it when we come back. And then from the next stitch, work normal double crochets, yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, both loops, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch, pull up a loop, double crochet, and you're just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch. and this is the last stitch, which is marked. Work one last double crochet in that stitch. So we just completed row 2. So from here, you're just going to repeat row 2 to begin a row. Turn your work directly, work your first double crochet like before, and then from the next stitch, just one double crochet in each stitch all the way to the last one. And this is 3 rows. To fasten off, you just chain 1, cut this yarn and pull it through. So once you know how to do that, the back panel is 90 stitches times 50 rows. So for the sample, the beginning chain is 10. For the back panel, the beginning chain is 90, and you're going to do 50 rows in total. And then after 50 rows, you just chain 1 and fasten off. From shoulder to the bottom is around 25 inches. And this does not include the ribbing. If you want the sweater to be shorter, then you just work fewer rows. This is one sleeve. As you can see, it's also a rectangle, and the beginning chain of a sleeve is 60, so that's 60 stitches across. And as to how many rows we need to do, it's not final yet. As you can see, I still haven't fastened off because I need to try it on first to see if I need to work more rows or not. So I'm gonna put them all together with stitch markers and try it on to see if the sleeve is long enough. But so far I've done, this is 25 rows, and if I want my sleeve to be longer, I'll just add more rows here. Sleeve width is around 7.5 inches. If you want it to be wider, just work more beginning chains. The length of the sleeve, not including the cuff, is about 7 inches. If you want your sleeve to be longer, work more rows. If you want it to be shorter, work fewer rows. The front panel has the same number of stitches and rows as the back panel. So the back panel has 90 stitches across. The front panel is going to have 90 stitches across as well. And the back panel has 50 rows in total. The front panel is going to have 50 rows too. The only difference is the front panel is going to have a V-neck here. So for the front panel, this is the back one. For the front panel, we're not going to have this triangle here. There's not going to be any stitches here. And as you can see, I've already marked out the neck hole. So this is 30 stitches. That's 30, and that's 30 as well. And as you can see, I didn't mark in a stitch. I kind of just separated these 2 stitches. So that's 30 stitches, 30 stitches, 30 stitches. And this corner from here is 15 rows. So that means for the front panel, I'm going to work from row 1 all the way up to row 35, and the shaping of the neck hole begins from row 36. So this is the front panel. I worked all the way to row 35, and we're going to start shaping the neck hole from the next row. So I'm going to first mark the center of this row. And this is the center. So again, I just kind of separated these 2 stitches. So from this one to the left is 45 stitches, and from this to the right is 45 stitches as well. So I'm going to turn my work and work 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way to 3 stitches before the marker. So now I have 3 stitches here. Over the next 2 stitches, I'm going to work a double crochet decrease. And in this pattern, a decrease is a double crochet 2 together. So I'm going to, in the next stitch, work a incomplete double crochet. That means I only yarn over and pull through 2 once, leaving 2 loops on hook. And then I'm going to yarn over again in the next stitch, work a incomplete double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 just once again. Now I have 3 loops on hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all. Okay, then in the next stitch, I'm just gonna work a normal double crochet. And then I'm gonna turn my work. And in the first stitch, which is this one, we're gonna make our first double crochet like before. So after the first stitch, over the next 2 stitches, work a double crochet 2 together again. So work your first incomplete double crochet, leaving 2 loops on hook, then yarn over again. In the next stitch, pull up 1 more loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is the next incomplete double crochet, yarn over, pull through all. And for the rest stitches, I'm just going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch. So I'm going to work like this normally to the end of the row, and then I'm going to turn, make my first double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way back. And when I have 3 stitches left, 1, 2, this is 1 stitch, 1, 2, 3 left for this row, I'm going to do a double crochet 2 together again. So I've worked my way back to the center of the panel. Now I have 3 stitches left, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make a double crochet 2 together again. So each time we come back to the center, we're going to make a double crochet 2 together again, and 1 last double crochet in the last stitch. And turn your work. And when we are working away from the center, we're going to begin with our first double crochet, and then a double crochet 2 together, and then 1 double crochet in each stitch to the end and all the way back, and repeat this again. And as you can see, one edge of the V is already starting to form. So continue decreasing like this until you have 50 rows in total for this panel. So this is row 50, and if you count from here, which is the first decreased row, this is the 15th decreased row. So I'm going to finish this row and I'm just going to chain 1, cut the yarn, and pull through. So we just completed one side of the V, and we're going to do the other side next. I'm going to join the yarn from the center here. So I'm just going to pull it through. And tie a knot. So as you can see, this is the first stitch, which is where I joined the yarn. So I'm gonna yarn over and insert my hook in this first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two vertical loops, make a single crochet in the left one, and then just like the other side, I'm going to decrease again over the next two stitches. And as I'm working my stitches, I'm going to wrap this little tail in my work. So I'm going to work a double crochet two together, wrapping the yarn, and again from here work one double crochet in each stitch all the way to the end of the row. And then when you come back to the center of the panel, work your stitches to 3 stitches left. 1, 2, 3. You're going to work a double crochet 2 together over these 2 stitches, and then work one last double crochet in this last stitch. So it's very similar to this side. When you're working away from the stitch marker, which is the center of the panel, you work one double crochet, then the decrease. But when you're working your way back, which is towards the center, you do a decrease, then one last double crochet. So go ahead and work this side until you have the same row count as this. So I finished the other side, and this is what it looks like. Next, we're going to join everything together, beginning with the shoulders. We don't have a right or wrong side yet, but if we do it from this side, the other side is going to be the right side. So make sure you line your stitches up. I still have my stitch marker on, so I know these stitches should be joined with this edge. You should have 30 stitches here and 30 stitches here as well. So we're just going to use a hook and slip stitch these stitches together, stitch to stitch. If you don't know how to do that, I have a tutorial. I'll link it up here. You can also use a yarn needle to join the seams. I show you how in the same video. So for this shoulder, I joined from this end, and for this one, I'm going to join from this end. So I'm going to connect my yarn. That's my stitch marker. That should be the first stitch of the shoulder. So this is the first stitch as well. That's the first stitch. And pull yarn through. Tie a knot. And then you can begin your slip stitches. I'm showing you a bit here, but if you need detailed instructions, watch that video that I linked you. I went ahead and sewed one sleeve on, and it turned out 25 rows was not enough, so I added another 10 rows here. So that means the sleeve panel is 60 stitches across still times 35 rows. After row 35, fasten off. And then we're going to fold the sleeve like this and join it to the main body of the sweater. So that's the V-neck, that's the other shoulder, and you're gonna join it like this. So that means I'm gonna first find the center of the panel and line it up with the shoulder. So that's the center. And that's the spot that should be connected straight to the shoulder seam. The sleeve is 60 stitches, so half of it is 30 stitches. And each double crochet row equals 2 stitches. So 15 double crochet rows equals 30 stitches. So we're going to sew these 30 stitches to the first 15 rows. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 15. So I'm going to put my marker here. Mark the 15 rows for the back panel as well. So begin from here, join these together, all the way around, and back to the underarm. So we're still going to use slip stitches to join just like this, but make sure your stitches line up. You can even add an extra marker here to help you line them up. And remember, we're still doing this from the wrong side. So I'm going to begin from the underarm. So I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch and on the other side as well. Pull yarn through, tie a knot. And like I said before, for every 2 stitches, I'm going to join them with 1 double crochet row. So insert my hook back in the first stitch, pull up a loop in the next stitch, and that's the second stitch. So I'm going to line them up and slip stitch. And you're just going to find a pattern to join 2 stitches with 1 row. So this is my pattern. I'm going to insert here, 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 and here. And then it's going to repeat again here, like this one here, and under 2 loops, that's the second spot, third and fourth spot, and repeat again. So I'm going to join it all the way around. And after that, the next thing we're going to do is connect the yarn to the bottom corner and join the side seam all the way to the underarm. And from here, you can directly join the bottom seam of the sleeve all the way here. For the cuffs, neckline, and the bottom ribbing, I'm going to use a slightly different shade of blue, but you can use the same color if you want. Remember to do this from the right side. So first, I'm going to do 1 round of single crochet with decrease. First, I'm going to find where I joined the seam. This is the bottom of the sleeve. I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch, pull yarn through, and tie a knot. Insert my hook back in the same stitch, pull up a loop, chain 1, insert my hook back in the same stitch again to make 1 single crochet. Next, I'm going to work a single crochet 2 together. So I'm going to insert my hook in the next stitch, and at the same time, you want to wrap this tail in the work. Pull up a loop, insert hook in the next stitch again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Okay, so 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, then I'm just going to repeat this. Next stitch, 1 single crochet, then 1 single crochet, 2 together, decrease. Pull up 1 loop in each of the following 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through 3. So keep repeating this and work all the way around. So 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. This is the last stitch. And a decrease. And then I'm just going to slip stitch back in the first single crochet. And slip stitch. And now we can begin the ribbing. So for this cuff, I'm just gonna work back loop single crochets back and forth like this along this edge. I show you how to do that in this video, so I'm not gonna spend much time here, but I'm just gonna chain 8. Plus 1 to turn, and from the second stitch from the hook, I'm just gonna work back loop single crochets. So I'm just going to work 1 single crochet in the back loop of each chain all the way back, and I should have 8 single crochets each row. So when I get back to this end, this edge, I'm going to slip stitch in the next stitch, then slip stitch in the next stitch again, turn your work 8 back loop single crochets all the way here, then chain 1 and turn, 8 back loop single crochets back again, then slip stitch twice, then turn again. So that's the simple version. But like I said, I already have a tutorial specifically made for this, so just watch that for the cuff section. So this is what the cuff looks like when it's finished. The bottom ribbing is very similar to the cuff. The only difference is we're not going to work this single crochet 2 together decrease for the first round. We're going to first just work 1 round of single crochet, 1 single crochet in each double crochet all the way around, and then slip stitch, and then we work the bottom ribbing exactly like the cuff. We're going to begin neckline from the bottom of the V. So I'm going to attach my yarn here, just this one. This is the center. It's the stitch to the left. And join the yarn, pull through. So just like before, we're going to work 2 single crochets for 1 double crochet row. So 2 singles here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. So I'm going to first insert my hook, pull up a loop, and chain 1. Work 2 single crochets for every row. Don't forget to wrap that yarn tail. So I'm going to continue working like this. I'll see you at this corner. So this is the last row of the front panel. I'm going to work the first single crochet, and then the next one I'm going to make a decrease. So I'm going to work a single crochet 2 together around this corner. So just pull up 1 loop from this side. And we also need another stitch from the back panel. This stitch is already joined, so I'm going to pull up one loop in this stitch. So pull up one more loop and yarn over, pull through 3, make a single crochet, 2 together, and then work 1 single crochet in each stitch. And around this corner, work a single crochet, 2 together again over this and this stitch, and then 1 single crochet here, and then 2 single crochets for every double crochet row. So keep working like that all the way back here. Last row here, one single crochet and the second one. Then I'm going to slip stitch in the first single crochet, which is this one. So that's the first stitch, and that's the last stitch of the round. And then you can chain 8 plus 1 from the second stitch from the hook, work back loop single crochets back and forth along these stitches. So that's exactly like your cuffs and the bottom ribbing. I'll see you at the last stitch here. So I just finished my last row. Unlike the cuff, where we joined the first and the last row together, the neckline, when I finish my last row, I'm just going to chain 1. And leave a tail to join the last row here. You can join it to the right side or to the wrong side. And then you're just going to fasten off on the wrong side. And finally, don't forget to weave in all other ends.